All right, so in this video, I'm going to share with you the most important thing that will make the greatest impact in your freestyle dance. Now, these things, it took me 20 years to understand it, and I'm still struggling with it sometimes. So what is that thing that I'm talking about? It's simple, but not easy. I'm talking about having a great connection with the music almost all the time, and also with any music. So when I share that with you, you can be like, yeah, but Nicky, I've heard that before. But connection with the music, ow. But if you follow my videos by now, you know that I'm a practical guy. So basically, I explain that to you, but I'm also going to share with you how to make it practical in your dance. Yes, I agree with you. Connection with the music sounds a bit too vague, right? But now, how can we manage to have a great connection with the music almost all the time? And for me, it's almost like I've got that formula, but I don't want to use the word formula really. Maybe for the lack of a better word, I'm going to just use formula, but it's not really a formula because dance is way more instinctive than that. It's not like, okay, you do 1 plus 1 and then it's gonna equal 2. It doesn't work this way. But what I mean by that is when you manage to have groove plus timing plus precision and plus you manage to create a great connection with the music. So groove, timing, precision, plus you, the character, you manage to make a great connection with the music almost all the time. And I say almost all the time because I cannot guarantee that every single round that you're going to be doing will be to your best capacity. And I would be lying if I said that to you. So yes, that's why I say almost all the time. All right? So when it's come to the first one, groove, there is one video that I explain groove in more details. Please watch that video if you are not 100% sure how to make groove practical in your dance, okay? So you can check that video, and yeah, I will put the link somewhere. You will see it's coming, something like that, all right? Then we have groove. So we have groove, yes. Then the next one, timing. Timing, in other words, what I mean by timing is rhythm, right? And then precision. What I mean by precision is texture. And what I mean by you is the character that you bring to that music and that moment, right? So when you combine all of this together, you've got a great connection with the music. Now, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna play the music, and then I'm gonna show you each phases of that. I'm gonna play the music, and I'm just gonna be grooving with the music. Then I'm gonna play the music, I'm gonna play with different rhythm with the music, and then I'm gonna add more texture to it, yes? And then I will also add more me to that music. And each phase, I will also explain more in details so that you can truly understand what I mean by that. And when we combine all of it together, then we have that great connection with the music. All right, let's go for it. All right, so on a song like this, the first one that I'm going to be doing is just a short round where I'm only grooving with that song, okay? So once again, if you want more details about the groove, check that video in my channel, all right? I'm going to just be grooving with that song, yes? Have a thing with Jacob Tiffany. Couldn't look real, it was real, nigga.
it and like it is yours. That's a nice tip. You ain't gotta fight shit. I pay more like the mic
Yes.
and the floors. Cat big back.
Right. So that was step one. Now, if I want to add more, even connect even more with that music, I want to play with different timing. And so basically, in other words, I'm going to add different rhythm to what the way that I'm playing with the music. So I'm not going to only be, flowing. Sometimes I will break it. I will break the pattern, right? And change the rhythm. In other words as well, I'm kind of shaping the groove differently to add different rhythm, okay? And just by doing this, I'm adding an extra layer of connection with the music, all right? Let's go, same music again.
Outside of sack, bitch, back. That's a nice trick. You ain't gotta fight shit. I paid for it like the mics in the store. You pack big bag, got a sack, fifth bag. Put her in the back with a fifth bag. I need space for all of my women. In these days, the argue is limited.
Yes. All right. Let me take this. All right. So I added an extra layer of connection with the music by not only flowing with the music, but also sometimes changing the rhythm, and shaping the groove differently to play with the music. Yes? Now, third part is that now I want to also be even more precise. Yes? So timing, then precision. So what I mean by even more precise is that I want to use even more texture in my movement execution. So what I mean by that is you're not only playing with the music musically, but also you want to do that visually. So let me give you an example. If you hear that song, for example, right? So now if I'm doing this with my hand, I can match the music and I do this, for example. If I do this, I'm not offbeat, right? But if you look carefully, the texture that I use for this and the sounds is not really matching completely because the sounds is a bit sharper and my movement is a bit like that. You see? So I'm not offbeat, but my movement could also match the sounds a bit more precisely. And once again, I'm not saying this is the way that you should be doing it all the time, but at least it's good to be aware that you have that option so that whenever you want to add even more texture to your movement, you can do it. So therefore, it would look something more like this. You see what I mean? So just by changing that with your movement execution, you all of a sudden also can create a better connection with the music. Does that make sense? But once again, there is no one rule, right? I'm only giving you options. So therefore, it's not the only way to play with the music, okay? But by adding texture, it can add an extra layer of connection. So now, if I'm gonna add more texture to this, so basically now we're gonna have groove plus timing plus precision. Yes? Let's go.
I'm replaced the broad and she tripping. It's deep. That's a nice fit. You ain't gotta find shit. I pay for it like the mice in the store. Pack big bags out of sack that bag. Put them in the back with a fifth back. I need space for all of my women. And these days the argument's limited. I replace the broad and you tripping. It's deep game and all in the pimpin'. We got one that's cool. Nowadays everybody got two.
All right. Nice, nice, nice. So we've got groove plus timing plus precision, right? And you see all of a sudden as well, the level of complexity in my movement are also getting higher. At first I was just chilling, and then starting adding more rhythm, and then starting adding more texture to my movement. Yes? Now, the last part, and not the least, is you, adding you, your character. And what I mean by that is something that I cannot teach you. Literally, I can't teach you that. It's more like embracing what you really feel like doing in the moment, 1000%, right? 1000%. That's what I mean. And when I say I cannot teach you that, I can guide you to kind of tap into you, tap into your characters, but I cannot necessarily teach you how to do it in the moment. You see what I mean? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna play the music, and I will combine everything together, which is groove, timing, precision, and adding some nickel on top of all of this, all right? So let's see how it goes based on how I feel like doing it in that moment only. Because next time, it might be completely different. You see what I mean? So let's go for it.
That'll do, but I need another one.
That's it. I was trying my best to be as honest as possible in that moment, not thinking, oh, now I need to do a crazy round or, you know, the best round possible or something like this. No, I was like, hey, how do I feel like moving in the moment? Just be present with the music and try to create the best connection possible. And I hope that you were able to see a difference from each stage. And the exercise for you is to do the exact same thing, but not once, but as many times as you want. All right? So you literally play the music and you go through those each stages, right? So each stage that you go through, you ask yourself, you try to identify which one that you struggle the most with. It might be the groove. It might be, you know, the timing, right? It might be precision, all right? So just identify which part that you feel like you're struggling a bit more with, and then you can try to spend even more time doing this. So you play the music and you do the exact same thing that you have done. And then once you find the ones that you feel like spending more time playing with, it can be precision, it can be, once again, groove or something like that, then you spend more time practicing those things. And what I mean by practicing is just by playing the music and try them out again and again and again, right? Now you might be also asking, yeah, but what if I'm struggling with all of them? If it's the case, then start with the groove. If it's the case, focus on the groove. Because if you manage to have a better understanding of how to be continuous and keep a consistent groove when you are dancing, then the rest, the other ones, they are only extra, right? Because if you start thinking too much about precision without actually knowing how to keep on a consistent groove and shape the groove differently and things like that, you will make it much harder on yourself. So if you feel like you are struggling with all of them, you make the groove the priority. And you see, I didn't say you make you, so character, the priority. Don't. Put the groove as the priority, and then later on, the rest will come in a more natural way, okay? Even your character. Because otherwise, you're gonna kind of fake the character. Because you're gonna try to, you know, add character, but there's no dancing going on here. You're more acting than actually dancing. And the groove and consistency in the groove is what will help you actually dance, right? So if you feel like, okay, I'm struggling with all of them, now you know where to start the groove. And you've got that video where I explain groove in more details. And also, if you still feel like, okay, this thing sounds good, but I need even more guidance, I've got a free training that is much longer than that, so you can dive even more deeper into this type of topic. Then you've got the link in the description below, all right? So other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one, yeah? Peace, bye.